This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. Today we got news. I'm telling you, prior to Game 4 in Hollywood, we got news about a guy nicknamed Hollywood and a goaltender coming back up for the Edmonton Oilers to sit in the press box as we continue our journey in these Stanley Cup playoffs ahead of game number 4 against the LA Kings tonight, friends. I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Thanks for being along today. If you're new to the channel, I want you to hit that subscribe button simply because I want you in the live streams for Game 4, 5, and 6 because it's going to be absolutely fantastic to see what the Oilers do here the rest of this series. Now, that said, the Edmonton Oilers have recalled, and I will show you the graphic to make sure I'm not joking you, Dylan Holloway from the Bakersfield Condors and goaltender Olivier Rodrigue has also been recalled. So the Oilers, after Calvin Pickard has played out his season in Bakersfield, Olivier Rodrigue has been recalled to the Oilers roster. That would assume potentially Calvin Pickard may get the call to go over to the World Championship team. That's just a speculation on my part, wondering why he has not been recalled, and instead Olivier Rodrigue has been called upon to act as the third string goaltender in case anything happens here down the stretch for the Oilers to either Campbell or Stuart Skinner. Now, I wasn't going to say Markstrom. I was actually going to say Markkanen, if you can believe that. That's the first name that came to my head when I said if something happens. That's welcome flashbacks, I guess, but it is where we're at. So Dylan Holloway has been recalled back to the Edmonton Oilers. This is obviously where I led off with we've got news about a player nicknamed Hollywood coming to play in Hollywood potentially tonight. If you've been following the storylines today for the Oilers, there has been word that potentially Evander Kane may not be in the lineup tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. There was no placeholder on the lineup card for him in warm-ups or in practice, this morning. So there is potential that maybe Dylan Holloway draws in. Highly doubtful, though, as much as I'd like to see him get a little bit more than 3 minutes and 26 seconds of ice time in a playoff game. I doubt tonight Mr. Dylan Holloway draws in, especially with the 11-7 formula and knowing how important Evander Kane is to this Oilers lineup, despite what some might think about the penalties he takes. But the question is now for the Oilers, how much would a guy like Dylan Holloway change things in the lineup? And I think all of us, night in, night out, despite that little 10-game stretch that Devon Shore went on, is if the Oilers choose to go 12-6 tonight and add Dylan Holloway to the lineup, which again, I don't know what the exact story is. I don't know if Dylan went to Bakersfield, came back tonight to California. I don't know what's the story here, but if Dylan Holloway is in the lineup and the Oilers go 12-6, I think we're looking pretty good, right? Holloway is a nice little replacement for a Matthias Janmark. Holloway is a guy that definitely likes to play a strong man's game. Not saying he's the biggest guy out there or he's the most physical, but he's got that power forward edge to his game. He's got that little bit of dynamic skating. He's got that little bit of a dynamic shot ability to make plays and obviously change the course of a game. And to have a guy step into the series, right, as the Kings did for Gabe Vilardi earlier after missing a game or two, now the Oilers are going to potentially get one of their young guys back into the lineup that's been out of the lineup since way back when, prior to the trade deadline. And now all of a sudden Dylan Holloway could potentially be a series shifter for the Oilers, right? You think about after Game 1 losing Matthias Janmark, how much the Oilers would have benefited from having him in Game 2 and Game 3. All the power play goals that the Kings have scored. Obviously, Janmark is a penalty kill specialist for us. He's a shorthanded goal scoring specialist for us. So you think about that and add that up and you think, well, one goal has been the difference in every single game so far this series. You really add on what Matthias Janmark could add to this team, and that changes things. Whereas now for the Oilers, they will have another even strength specialist option in Dylan Holloway to try and change things. And two, if he does factor into the series, he's a guy who does play power play 2 minutes. And especially if you are indeed actually missing Evander Kane at any point in this series, he's a guy that factors in there. And Olivier Rodrigue, as much as I'm just making the joke that I'm not sure why Calvin Pickard did not get recalled, Rodrigue's had a fantastic year as well in Bakersfield, a guy who had a lot of question marks surrounding him coming into this season. And now a guy who kind of cemented that, you know what, we should probably keep this kid around, whether he be in the minor league system, whether he somehow factor into the NHL system or whatever the case might be over the course of the next year. we must re-sign Olivier Rodrigue, and this I would assume is a good sign of that because the Oilers have chose to recall him over top of Calvin Pickard. Now, when it comes down to it for the Oilers here, I'm gonna Dylan Holloway factoring back into the lineup. Jay Woodcroft did say we'll see what comes out of the gate, so that's an interesting kind of addition here. Is with Jay Woodcroft saying that that's where I got the speculation angle on all the fronts here. Is just trying to figure out, is that a gamesmanship thing? And then all of a sudden the Oilers released this news that they've recalled Holloway and of course Olivier Rodrigue. Obviously you're not going to see Rodrigue tonight, but to see Dylan Holloway be recalled is a pretty interesting move. One that we all expected as soon as the Condors were out of the playoffs. It came a couple days later, but now he's here and we'll see what comes of it for Dylan Holloway. And obviously we'd love to see him have a very strong playoffs. He made his NHL debut, if you remember correctly, last year in the NHL playoffs. That's where that 3 minutes and 26 seconds or whatever I was talking about earlier in the video comes from as well. So for the Oilers, not unexpected moves, not big moves, not crazy moves, but Dylan Holloway is about the most impactful player we can recall from the Bakersfield Condors. The next likely recalls will be Brad Malone and Jason Demers, I would figure. And then if you get anything of interest, it would maybe be Raphael Lavoie being recalled for the Oilers as well, filling out that Black Ace squad that you normally have during the playoffs, traveling around with the team and making sure if injuries happen, the Oilers are able to keep the roster filled up as needed. But that's kind of where we're at right now, friends. The Oilers making those couple of moves for things and trying to figure out if they're going to get Dylan Holloway into the lineup is going to be the biggest mystery we have the rest of the way home today on this fine Sunday. It's a beautiful 10-degree day in southern Alberta. I'm about to go outside and enjoy. I'd go rake the lawn, but that snow mold's still pretty bad because we haven't gotten any rain down here as of yet. So hopefully the rain comes tomorrow and then we're good to go, or overnight would be really fantastic. Let me tell you, that'd be amazing. But hopefully it rains W's for the Edmonton Oilers as well tonight. There will be another video from me about 3:30 today is when I'll try and release it for. I'll let this video do its thing, but just keep your eyes out for kind of the preview for Game 4 around 3:30 this afternoon, as I did record that prior to recording this video. But then, of course, right, the Oilers make this roster move, and that's a little bit more pressing, so I figured I better get this one up for you. So it's Dylan Holloway and Olivier Rodrigue being recalled from the Bakersfield Condors following their playoff exit to be part of the Oilers Black Ace squad and now ready to rock and roll for the 2023 NHL playoffs. Friends, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. Like I said, I'll catch you around 3:30 again with a video that was not aware of this, so it's kind of reverse order, but that's okay. I am up on out of here.